Alright guys, I'm hanging out with Erin, a producer on Injustice. I really just kind of got my first real look at the game, and it was incredible. Like, when you're giddily laughing through a presentation, I feel like that's a good sign. So right off the bat, in terms of this the cinematic approach you guys are taking, can you talk about what motivated that and how that represents this evolution of fighting games in general?
I think it's a natural evolution when you're dealing with characters like we are for this game. I mean, we're set solely in the DC universe, so we've got these big epic characters like Batman, Superman, and they really lend themselves well to the big cinematic approach. I mean, we want the game to feel like a summer blockbuster. And everything we're doing, I mean, you'll notice when you play the game, there's no fight announcer, it's very seamless. We want it to feel almost like you're experiencing a movie.
Right. And the set pieces themselves, there's so much detail going on. Like, we were watching something in the Batcave where it's pillars collapsing, and I actually stopped watching the fight at one point. I was just like, oh my god, what's happening back there? Going about that with the art style and things like that, how's that process been, and where's the level for? Oh, we don't want it so busy back there people aren't focusing. But
right. I mean, these are battles among superheroes. They're not mere mortals, so it makes sense that these backgrounds are going to crumble and be destroyed by the time the fight's over. And there's some gameplay elements there as well. I mean, you'll see the arenas actually evolve throughout the fight. So it is, yeah. We definitely don't want to make it too busy where it's distracting, but there's a lot of cool things to see and do. So
yeah, and a lot of the interactables, in some ways, it has a natural feel, like it's maybe a street fight evolving, or a scene in a movie trailer where it's oh, I grabbed a car and threw it. What's the balance for that sort of stuff, where you've got some players that'll probably be I know the combos, I'm doing this, and someone else who's I'm grabbing the car and throwing it every time. And
yeah, well, definitely, it presents an interesting challenge for us, because obviously we have to make sure all the characters are balanced first, and then we have the interactable objects on top of that. So it's pretty complex, making sure that everything is balanced, and so that there's no unfair things that people can take advantage of. But it's fun at the same time. I mean, it's definitely not something we've done before, and it's been pretty cool to try to push our own boundaries and try to grow the gameplay in new unique ways.
So some people see it's DC property, and it's oh, well, it can't be as over the top, violently bloody as Mortal Kombat. But a lot of the action in this is really over the top and super fun. So is it, in terms of working within those restraints, it's been a good experience for you?
Yeah, working with DC has actually been awesome. They've been an amazing group to partner with, and they've pretty much let us do what we want with these characters. I mean, you'll see these are NetherRealm's interpretation of these classic characters, and we definitely have a lot of big over-the-top action in this game. So.
As far as balancing, character classes with the heroes themselves, what sort of challenges are there where it's okay, well, we know this character has to be like this, and we've got to kind of lock it in, but oh, maybe we would want to try something that you wouldn't expect from that?
Yeah, for this game, most of the characters are going to fall into two different classes. I mean, we've got the big power characters like Solomon Grundy and Superman. Obviously, they've got the strength and the brute force. But then we've got other characters like Nightwing that fall into more of a gadget character class. They've got more agility. They've got different weapons that they can use to help even the odds somewhat.
And when you're pairing up characters like that, is it difficult making it? I mean, there's over-the-top fun, but also a certain realism where it's is Nightwing dead? I saw what Superman just did to him, so is that,
Yeah, people have been asking us, they're how can Nightwing beat up Superman, or how can Batman beat up Superman? And rest assured, we have a very good reason. We've got a great story for the game that was co-written with the NetherRealm staff and Jimmy Palmiotti and Justin Gray from DC. So these questions will be answered, but we're not quite ready to reveal those details yet.
Batman fans should not be asking how could Batman beat up Superman. They should know. So, also at Gamescom, you guys just announced Catwoman, correct? Is that a...
Yeah, Catwoman was announced a couple days ago. There's a trailer online right now where you can see some of her moves in action. Yeah, she's a really cool character.
As far as her moves go, can you walk us through just a little bit of what her style is like?
Well, she kind of falls into the gadget class that I was talking about before. I mean, she's got her claws. She's got a lot of really quick-based attacks. She also has, you'll see on her costume, she's got a tail which she can actually remove and use as a whip. So she's a pretty fun character.
That's very cool. Well, the game's looking great. It's truly the beauty of it. We're all just sitting there on those big monitors. It's the kind of thing you want to gather on a big TV and play. So looking forward to seeing more. So
cool,
thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks.